Notice, in accordance with the new copyright regulations, this episode of Quoth the Raven is intended for ages 16 and up. While some of the content we sometimes feature on the show is kid-friendly, the content of the episode is to address adults and inform them of said content for them to research as consumers in service of their youth. In other words, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, teachers, librarians, etc. There is the possibility of adult language present on the episode as well, rated TV 16 and up. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 29-year veteran writer, artist, and editor of comic, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. And this is our Thursday night roundtable discussion. And tonight, my guest is a veteran of the indie scene more recently, and he's been putting out some really cool books, such as The Baboon, The Muscoloid Menace, and along with cohort Nick Cagnetti, The Baboon and Pink Lemonade Jamboree issue from Bowtie Press, which he is the publisher of. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest at this time, Mr. Jamie Jones.
I muted my mic. Yeah. I tried to be professional to mute my mic, and then I don't turn it back on. That is a problem that I have frequently now. So,
welcome once again to the show. Jamie has been a guest before when we actually promoted these books that I just showed you. But today we're going to be talking about his new Kickstarter campaign, which is a new Baboon episode called Skull of the King, which is a one-shot issue. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's a 32-page one-shot book, no ad space, so it's just going to be a full color comic. Just another adventure for the Baboon to go on.
Well, what people who might not have seen the original episode, because it's been a while since you've done the Baboon, let people know what it's about.
Yeah, the Baboon is a pulp action adventure comic. It is my love letter to stuff like The Spirit and Terry and the Pirates and Wash Tubbs has become more and more of an influence on my stuff lately. I like old comics, and old comics don't seem to exist anymore. And I wanted to do more of that. So he's a pulp action adventure character. He's a freelance adventurer and gets hired to go and solve problems in the world with his crew. He's got Clayton, who is his best friend and accountant. He's got Brick, who's the demolitions expert, Mel, who is the pilot, and Monkey Bones, who is his 10-year-old nephew.
Yes, that is one of the fun parts, is that you have the kid sidekick who's his actual nephew. A lot of times when we have the kid sidekicks in the classic golden early silver age, they're not related at all. And you're like, how does this teenager get stuck with this superhero?
Yeah.
This, at least, they're related, and there's a familiarity between the characters beyond just being a tandem.
Right. Yeah. There's little things like having to remember to call each other by code names, because he's Uncle Bart, right? Like that's just part of it. Family is a huge part of the book, and it's becoming increasingly so more important. Legacy is something I'm very interested in. Like I'm a third, and so I think I come by it honestly. My dad's name is Barton. That's where Barton Marlowe's namesake comes. My name is Jamie. That's where Monkey Bones' namesake comes from. And I've always been obsessed with the Legacy character. I really like the Phantom and the Flash, right? Characters who adopt the name of the former. And so that's become increasingly more important. Family is becoming more important. I think just as I get older, family and heritage is becoming more and more important to me, just personally, and then that's seeping out into the comics.
Well, how old is your son now?
I don't have a son.
I thought you did.
I do not. No.
Oh, okay, I thought you did. I don't know why.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe I'm confusing you with the other one. I don't know.
I don't know. There's tons of guys who have kids.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's
I am
true.
not one of them.
Yeah. No, there's another Jamie I know. That's all in comics. I'm like,
Yes.
So I
That Jamie may have kids.
Yes. Well, it's not you. It must be him.
It must be. It's got to be him, right?
Okay. So let's take a quick look at the Kickstarter that's
Yeah.
going on right now. And you have 20 days to go. You have 108 backers.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And you
I haven't looked at this today. I've been trying to take a break from looking at it. So this is a good time to do so.
And you've passed the goal, so it is funded. It is going to be presented and shipped out, folks. So you don't have to worry about that. I keep seeing these things with Kickstarters and Indiegogos about people who are like, where do you place your goal at? Because you want to get funded, and yet there's reality of what things cost too.
Right.
And I know 1,500. I don't know what your print run was planning, but that's a pretty low goal.
Yeah, I was planning. I'm doing print on demand. I've been using Comics Wellspring for printing. They printed the Baboon Pink Lemonade Jamboree, and it's the coloring. The colors on that book pop really well. The pinks are super pink, and the yellows are super yellow. And I've been using them for 5 years now, off and on, and I've seen their production quality get so much better over those years. And so they make it really easy, and especially now they're teaming up with people who do Kickstarters a lot. They make it really easy to print a low amount and be able to and still make a profit. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Well, we're at 2274 of a 1,500 goal, and again, we still have 3 weeks to go here, so there's plenty of time. But we want to get people to back this, so let's take a look at it.
So here's the thing. I meant to do a Kickstarter earlier this year, back in March. Life things got in the way, and that finagled everything else. And so we come to you with a thing unplanned, but equally as awesome. Hi, my name is Jamie Jones. I am a cartoonist and illustrator, and I am coming at you today with the latest and greatest in the pulp action adventure genre, The Baboon. For those of you who are new around here, The Baboon is my love letter to pulp action adventure comics of the 40s and 50s, and is an all ages comic. It's kind of like Indiana Jones and Johnny Quest and The Spirit. These are a few of my favorite things, like raindrops on roses. I'm trying something a little different this time. I'm doing the whole thing on stream on Twitch. Started a Twitch stream, and that's where it is. So that's new. If you are a process junkie like I am, head over to the Twitch stream and watch the whole book come to life. Let's talk the goods. We've got a 32-page full-color comic, one-shot. So new readers, jump on in. The rewards are pretty basic. It's just books and sketches. So if that's something that's up your alley, I think you're going to like it. Think of this more like a community-driven Comic-Con, and the Twitch stream is a panel once a day for 30 days where you get to see a comic being made. So I think that's pretty cool, and I hope to see you there, and I hope you support.
And that is, pretty much what you already just said, but at the same time, it's more fun.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sitting looking at all the whole run of the Spirit sitting behind you, and I'm like, yeah, you just. Yeah, see, I really am a Spirit fan.
Yeah. Right under it, I have like the entire run of Plastic Man too. So it's I live and breathe 40s pulp comics, for sure.
That is certainly cool. But let's take a quick look at this is the cover.
Yeah.
And this is painted.
Fully painted. Yeah, I've been.
Is this traditional or digital?
It is. It's traditional. It's in gouache, actually. Here's
wow! Hold on a second. Let me get you there.
Yeah.
There we go. Wow.
Yeah.
This is gouache, you said?
It's gouache, yeah.
Okay. And what is the size of that?
11 by 14.
11 by 14. Okay.
Yeah. I tend to work smaller than a traditional than the traditional comic book size. But
Mhm.
For the cover, I just went for the full 11 by 14
Mhm.
size and then shrunk it down a little bit to
Mhm.
tighten things up.
Okay. Is that going to be like something you're keeping for yourself, or is that something that might eventually be a giveaway or something if you had enough backers?
Maybe. I tend to keep everything that I've done for the Baboon. I sell off pages here and there for past projects, but the Baboon is I've just held on to it. I think I'm gonna do the Todd McFarlane thing and just like hold on to everything. And then when I'm super mega famous, I'll make an artist edition and it will be great, and I'll have all the pages.
Yeah, that would be yeah. IDW comes calling, right?
Right, yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense, actually. Let's see here. We've got for pledge $3, you get the digital PDF. For $6 or more, you get the physical comic, which again is a 32-page full color, no ad comic book. We've got the Baboon bundle, which is when you get the hardcover Mr. Menace, which is a nice. How many pages was this? 48?
64.
64. Okay, 64-page hardcover edition, and you get the Skull of the King as well for 30. And then there's the original drawing, which is you get an original sketch. That's on a backing board. Okay.
Yeah, backing board size makes it very easy to ship.
Yes.
I have found that's
yes, definitely. Of course, you can get a drawing of either the Baboon or Pink Lemonade. Now, Pink Lemonade is not.
Oh well, that is a copy and pasted from the last Kickstarter. I did not change that. I'm going to edit that and update that because that's not true.
Okay, I was just going to say because I was like, is Nick letting you do the Pink Lemonade sketch? I mean,
sure.
I mean, I don't think they would mind. I mean, anything promoting Pink Lemonade too. I mean,
yeah. No, actually, that is supposed to be an original sketch. You get to choose what character I draw, and I just never changed that. So it's even better than it sounds.
Okay, so you can draw any character that you request.
Right. Yeah.
As long as it's appropriate for all ages.
Yeah, I can deny whatever I want to deny.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I just say that for folks because, people tend to ask for crazy stuff sometimes.
That's true. That's true.
And we're not going to get into that discussion. But yeah, for $50 or more, you can get the original drawing. And so, like you said, you have to correct, if you can correct that. I don't know if they'll let you.
I don't know if I can now because people have backed it, but I will put that in the updates. I need to be doing an update soon anyway. People have asked me it's come up on Twitter. People have been like, "Hey, if I ask you for this character, will you draw it?" I was like, "Yeah, isn't that what it says?" And
nope, it doesn't.
It's not apparently.
But I was going to ask you. It's like, okay, Baboon or Pink Lemonade? What's going on?
Yes,
but
there's more Baboon and Pink Lemonade stuff coming. Not entirely true, but he does have a cameo in the latest issue of Pink Lemonade.
Okay,
which is fun.
And of course, my fur monster wants attention.
Of course.
So yeah, everybody wants to see Midnight anyway. He's always like some people actually go, "Where is he?" And then when he shows up, they leave the channel.
Yeah.
But it's fine, But let's see here. Of course, you are drawing this entirely on Twitch, and you have all the back episodes so you can watch this from beginning to end.
Yeah, you can even watch me plot out the book. That was probably the stupidest thing I've ever done. I'm standing in front of a whiteboard, letting people in on that side of life, that side of the process. Not great. I look insane. I look So I look and sound crazy as I'm talking through all of this stuff. That's what my degree is in. So sometimes it kind of feels like the only thing I'm qualified to talk about is writing.
Mm-hmm.
When people ask me art questions, I mean, I can tell you how I think, but for writing stuff, I've read multiple books on the subject, so I can actually communicate my thoughts a little bit better, a little more clearly when talking about writing process. But man, talking about writing process and then writing and then answering questions and then plot, like I think I slept for 2 days afterwards. It was crazy.
Exhausting.
It was exhausting. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. As a writer, I don't know. I tend to write full script. I don't plot per se. I mean, I keep the plot in my head, but it's like everything has to be full script.
Yeah.
And no one wants to read that because I'm very Alan Moore-ish at my scripts, even when I'm drawing the book.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I am very Marvel style. I have found where I'll just write a plot treatment for myself and then start drawing. Sit on it for a couple of days, and then so I can kind of forget what I wrote, look at it, and then just start plotting pages out.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't have a copy of a script that I can show anybody right now on the computer that I can get access to. But I even, when I'm writing my scripts for myself, even I'll do it where I actually describe the size of the panels and the layout and everything.
Oh, wow. That's very detailed. My scripts look like this. So I do a plot breakdown, and then I actually...
oh, you can do that. I've done that before.
This is the second Baboon book, the second big one. It's 94 pages. So it's I write everything in spreads, and then
that's more storyboarding to me than plotting.
Oh, this isn't the plot. The plot is just like, this is what happens. It's
okay.
It may be a page. Like this may have been a page of plotting.
Oh, okay.
And then I just went straight to thumbnails.
That makes sense.
And then write the script on the thumbnail.
Well, yeah, that makes sense because you want to make sure everything fits, and not just in terms of dialogue fitting in a panel, but within context of the artistic layout and design of the page.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And people don't always understand that because we've gotten so digital that everything's done. Computer coloring is digital. The lettering is done digital. You got the original lettering, and they don't understand the artistry of these aspects of cartooning.
Laying out poor lettering and poor bubble placement drives me bonkers. And I try very hard to let things be readable. So that's a big focus for me.
Makes sense. Okay, let's see what else we got here. You're showing more artwork here. Of course, you said this was supposed to be coming out back in March for the hardcover. You moved from Florida to Georgia, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I moved to Savannah.
Right. How do you like Savannah?
It's great. I love it. I love it a lot. I walk everywhere. I've made some pretty great friends very quickly here. It's great. That's
cool. Yeah, I lived there as a small child from 77 to 82. I was in the military, or rather my father was in the military, I should say. So I was kind of like, we were there at Hunter Army Airfield down there. And I did visit again back in 07 or 08 to go to SCAD. To see if I could get in as a adjunct instructor, but that didn't pan out. So
it is very different. I've been coming to Savannah. I used to have some friends who lived here 6 years ago, and I would come and visit them weeks on end. And in the time since I started visiting to now moving here, it's changed drastically. It's a much, I think, kind of more artistically vital or right now. You walk everywhere. Everyone's my favorite thing about Savannah is I can walk around with a sketchbook and nobody bats an eye. Back in Tampa, where I was living previously,
I'm in Tampa too.
it was like I was like constantly on show, and I was just trying to do. I was just like, I'm working, guys. Can I let me work? Here, it's great. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Maybe people are interested in it, but for the most part, it's pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an arts. You have SCAD, so most everybody is carrying their sketchbook. So that makes.
Yeah, that's it. I think with Tampa, I mean, if they see you drawing, do you work for Busch Gardens?
Yeah.
Are you a Disney guy? That's the first thing they ask you in Tampa or in Orlando if they see.
Right.
And that's just the way it is in those areas. Like I said, I haven't been to Savannah since 07 or 08, but I remember going there, and of course, we hadn't been there for 25 years.
Yeah.
And it was just like looking around. I mean, there was stuff that was still there from 25 years earlier, obviously.
Right.
And then there's this other stuff, and you're just like, where am I?
Yeah.
It was weird to see like the Oglethorpe Mall was still there.
Yeah.
And or the some of the restaurants that were still there but weren't the same anymore because it's either the family is passed it down to the next generation or they've been bought out by somebody else and it's not the same. But it's just weird to me.
The history of Savannah is very fun.
It's quite unique.
It is. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's plaques on houses that say this house was built at this time for this person, and people just live there. I live in an old grocery store, right? It's different. It's just different. And I like creatively for me, it's invigorating, right? I can walk around and go look at old houses and come back to my desk and start drawing. It's one of those.
Okay, that's cool. There's lots of stuff here, though. Nice Cyclops.
Yes. It's a comic book within a comic book.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. And this is Monkey. Not Monkey Boy. What do you call
Monkey
him?
Bones.
Monkey Bones.
Yeah.
Reading the comic, which I think is funny. And of course, this is his stream schedule, which we'll show again a little bit later in the show. Again, these are the rewards. You get it for $3 digital, $6 for physical comic, which is, relatively inexpensive considering what a lot of these people are charging for comics these days.
When I found out that I could compete with Batman or I could undersell a Batman book, I got real excited. It was because Batman's now like what $8 it's ridiculous.
Well, so depends on what book it is, but yes.
Right.
And of course, the Baboon bundle where you get the hardcover Mustoid Menace, and then you can get an original drawing, of course, of whatever character you want. I would definitely. I haven't had a chance to get my money straight to back this one, but I will be backing it, like I did the original Mustoid Menace. I keep calling it Mustoid. It's Mustelid, isn't it?
It's Mustelid. It's what weasels are, and
yes,
Professor Weasel is the villain of the first book.
Let's go a little bit of that. This is actual pencils that were printed in here. I don't know if I can get a closer look or not here, but there he is on the island, washing up on the island of the Mustelid in his hideout. There's some of the. Who printed this one out for you?
I was so bummed that in the Suicide Squad movie, Harley Quinn does this trick, and I was like, I did this years ago. So that book was printed by Print Lore out of Chicago.
Okay.
They are fantastic and will be printing the hardcover books, I think, moving forward.
Okay, that makes sense.
They're great. I told the Susan, the woman who runs Print Lore, what I wanted the book to smell like, and she was like, "I got you," and that was.
Now that's cool.
Yeah. It was like, hey, I want it to smell like a Dark Horse hardcover, and she was like, done, and I got that book. So.
Now I've never heard it described that way, but because you didn't know what paper, you just said that.
I said I knew I wanted 70-pound uncoated paper.
Okay.
And I wanted a laminated hardcover book.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how to get it to smell the way I wanted it to smell, but I was like, how can we make it be like this? And she was like, I got you. And I was like, great, cool. And then the books came in and I was like, yeah, this worked.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I would recommend the, how many copies of this do you still have in stock?
Enough. I have enough.
Okay. Unless somebody comes in and goes, hey, we want 1,000 copies or something.
Right. I don't have 1,000 copies left. I think I'm at, I know I don't. I'm trying to remember what I put on my taxes because that was the correct amount because I counted. But when I moved, I was like, just too many. There's too many. That's the answer. I moved all of those books. So.
Yep, I hear you. I've done that. Being a military brat, I've had to move so much stuff. And it's
yeah.
Oh, geez. It's like my dad goes. My dad's old and he's got a pacemaker, so he don't want to move anymore. Of course, he hasn't wanted to move for the last 2 or 3 times we've moved. But it's like he goes, "Do you really want to move again with your comics collection?"
No. Oh man, that was the worst. The worst. I purged a lot before I moved.
Oh wow.
And I
see. I got nothing left to purge. I'm actually regrowing.
Well, that's a good situation. I almost said all I'm going to take is the Eisner stuff and the Jack Cole stuff, and then I can get everything again. I was that close to just being like, just it's all gone. Maybe some of the comic strip collection stuff that I've amassed at this point, but
yeah.
So like Terry and the Pirates, I would have taken Terry and the Pirates as well. Yeah. They're nice. They're nice books.
Yes, they are. Very nice books.
So yeah.
Okay. So let me make sure I have this in my bookmark for my. There we go. That way I've got the Kickstarter page bookmarked. I can come back and back it. I want to make sure I have it right. Okay, let's do something really cool here. Let's have a game of true and false.
Let's do it.
You're actually the first person who gets to do this.
Oh, well, pressure's on.
Let's see. True or false? When he isn't hard at work doing comics, Jamie likes to cosplay as Mr. Toffee from Candy Crush Saga.
That I didn't realize this guy also had a red beard. Maybe accidentally.
Accidentally.
So maybe that's an accidental truth.
Okay, that's interesting. I said false, but that's true. Okay. Well, actually, he doesn't have a beard. He actually has a goatee.
Oh, well, then false.
Yeah, but I added the beard because when I saw this character, I'm like, that's Jamie. I could see him doing that, But so okay. We'll say that one's false. True or false? Jamie is a community theater thespian.
That is true. I also acted professionally for years. So not just community theater. That was my day job for a while.
Oh, really? That's interesting. Did you do like full theater, or did you do film acting, television?
I did some student films, but it was all stage acting.
Okay,
with
that's awesome.
The SNL acting. Yeah. So yeah.
So you did that for years. What's your favorite role?
Oh man, I've done a lot. It's either I did Sir Aguecheek in Twelfth Night, which is the Shakespeare play. One of my favorite productions I've ever been in was that Twelfth Night production. And then I did a show called, recently the last show that I did professionally, and it was right before COVID hit, was Meteor Shower, which is the latest Steve Martin play. And I'm a big Steve Martin fan. Mm-hmm. And that show, I think, if I'm going to go out, because I haven't done it in, 2 years now, if I'm going to go out, that's a good play to go out on. Super fun show. It's just a four-hander.
Well, I don't know why you need to go out. You're certainly young enough to keep going. I mean,
sure.
It's it's just a matter of finding the right place and time in right projects.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, our regular viewer and sometimes co-host John Norris isn't with us, and he's a musical director and actor himself for local theaters here in the Columbia area, Lexington, South Carolina area. So, he'd be. It's a shame he's not on, because you two would be going back and forth.
Yeah, I can talk some theater, some lighting.
Yeah, but he's. I don't know what he worked on. I can't remember what he did most recently. Unfortunately, it's like a couple of weeks ago, actually. So he's doing prepping for another one. It's next month.
Oh, great. That's good to know. I'm glad that theaters are opening up again and things are starting to kind of go back to normal.
Well, they've been open, but with the new variant, who knows what's going to happen.
That's very true. Yeah.
That's the thing there. But either way, let's see what else we got here. Okay, we know that this is true. Jimmy has a Twitch channel. You can watch him. Stocks on Art. Well, we already know that one's true because we've already talked about it.
That's right. True. That's a strong true.
And then that is at www.twitch.tv/artofjamiejones. And let me go ahead and put that in there again. There we go. And actually, either way, you can read it. I thought I had it large enough, but just in case. Let's see. Of course, true or false, the Baboon is the only Kickstarter that Jamie Jones runs. True or false?
That's false.
Yes, that is correct. You also have been doing Tales of Monkey Fighting Robots.
Yes. In conjunction with the Monkeys Fighting Robots comic book review site, I have done Tales of Monkeys Fighting Robots. We have since taken a hiatus when I moved, and this year has been a little wonky on finishing it up. We're almost done with it. We were going to do 100 strips, and things kind of got in the way. Life things got in the way, and we've ceased production. But we're planning on doing a Kickstarter once the 100 pages are done for a big collected volume.
Okay, very cool. I remember getting some of those smaller ones with the MJF magazine.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like, that's cool. And of course, that is a book you do with Matthew Sardo.
Yes. Yeah. We used to be neighbors. When I lived in St. Pete, we would just pop over to the bar and write comics. It was one of the most fun writing experiences I've ever had. Is just going over there and plotting things out very fast over a couple of beers. He would also come and sit on my porch, and we'd just like hang out, and it was great. He's a great guy. He's a great guy, and super fun to talk to. Super knowledgeable on comics as well. I guess he would have to be if he writes journalism, but
well, that's debatable. I mean,
that you know what when I said it.
Well, no. Let me put it this way: to write true comic journalism, yes. To do what I see largely on social media, what I largely see in so-called comics news media, no.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. We got into deep discussions about comics, which was nice. I think I helped inform a lot of the practices that Monkeys Fighting Robots as a company values when it comes to like how do you ask artist questions. A lot of people, I've done a lot of interviews over the years, don't know how to ask good questions. You can nothing against the Hollywood Reporter, but if I get asked how did I pick my style one more time, it's
I didn't pick a style.
It just kind of came about.
I say I'm going to do that style because someone else does it already. No, that's not how it works. You picked many different people's styles, and then you said, "What can I take from each of them to form my own?" That's
and most people don't know that that's how that works, which surprises me because that's how I think everything in life works. But I also I create rules for myself. And my rules are very I'm very adamant on my rules, knowing that full well that my rules are my rules, and other people have their own. But
no, I think it's just that people, when you watch people do you're even on your own Twitch, they're watching you draw. Well, that's how you draw.
Right.
That's not the way to draw. That's but you listen to other people who think they're hot spit, and that's kind of how they present their material, and it's like that's where that confusion comes, I think.
Sure. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I have a huge ego. That's so I drink my own Kool-Aid.
You're not Ethan Van Sciver.
I don't know. I think we might. I mean, my practices are different, but I think I could rival him on the ego side. But
at least you're the one. Let's just wait. You're comics' most dapper-looking man.
Well, that's true. I try. I try. You got to compete with Ben Templesmith somehow. He's the. Best compliment I've ever gotten at a convention was Ben Templesmith being like, "You dress well, friend," and I was like, "Thank you." Other person also in a suit, and we just kind of walked by, and it was a good time.
Yeah, well, I mean, most of us dress in jeans and shirts, right?
Yeah, I originally did it as a joke. I drew me on my first banner. I drew me in a bow tie and a sweater vest. And then when I was talking to the comic shop that I was associated with at the time, they were like, "Oh, no, you have to wear that when you go to the convention." And so I did. And then my entire identity has now been wrapped up into a bow tie and a vest.
And you're kind of like, "Oh, no, what have I done?"
Well, yeah. I've gone to conventions not exhibiting, not with a bow tie on, just like a hoodie and jeans, and people don't recognize me. It's great. It's fantastic because then I can just enjoy the show. But but when the second I'm behind the curtain, I put the bow tie on, and it does kind of
it's your costume.
It is my costume. Yeah, it does.
It's your superhero identity.
It locks things in. I will never curse with the bow tie on, right? I will never I'm very family friendly. All my friends know that when the show ends and the bow tie comes undone, they're like, "Oh, Jamie's now. We can now cut loose with Jamie." I'm a very different person with and without the bow tie on. Not terribly different, but it's.
I'm gonna have to have time without.
Yeah, it's probably the same thing. There's just a switch in my head that goes off.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think we could talk more of a rant, more of a dirt sheet without the tie. Then.
Yeah, that's probably 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more the thing there, but that's fine. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, now here's the big piece here. Again, Jamie does have a Twitch channel where you can watch him draw both the Monkey Fighting Robots comic strip and the Baboon comic, along with other stuff that you do. Your streaming schedule is Monday at 2 p.m. You do.
This is an old schedule.
Okay, so what is the schedule?
My schedule is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
At 3 p.m. on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and 5 on Tuesday. So the only thing that's stayed similar to this is Tuesday.
Okay.
This is an old schedule. It changes kind of frequently.
Oh, sure. I like my schedule has lately.
Right. I'm just trying to find what the right time is to do things and all of that stuff. I also stream at random times because why not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Monday is your Monkey Fighting Robots day.
It used to be, but
okay.
Because we've put a stop to that for now, or taken a little hiatus. It's all so the way my schedule is going to be newly happening. Monday is going to be a all penciling day, and then Tuesday is going to be an all inking day. Wednesday is getting to whatever I haven't done on Monday and Tuesday, and then Thursday is painting.
Okay.
And that's how it's going to break down. That's new. That is what my schedule is going to be starting
this week.
Next week. Yeah. So
I was going to say either this or next week because you were doing painting earlier today.
Yes. Yeah. It's just kind of things have kind of fallen into that schedule and kind of that way of working. So I figured I might as well actually make it official and do it that way.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, this is something, people who might watch the show. Like I said, I might start doing a Twitch channel just for the drawing. Or should that remain here on YouTube? Because I do usually 1 or 2 live draws a week on YouTube. But like I say, I only get like 2 or 3 viewers a show, if I'm lucky.
That's significant. I've found that getting average viewers every stream is hard. It's harder and harder to do. You're competing with more and more people. It's tricky. I have now averaged, I think my overall average is 7.8 at this point. And I've been doing it for a few months, but I have consistently have actually this week has been really great. I've had consistently like 10 people watching. So that's new, but it's also like if you consider 10 people a lot of people, it's great.
Yeah. Well, here's the funny part. You know who Aaron Lopresti is?
Yes.
Okay. Aaron just launched his newest Indiegogo project, Wraith of God. And he went on Ethan Van Sciver's channel. Now he's got almost 1,000 viewers every single show.
Oh, that'd be great. That would be fantastic. I would love that.
Yeah, but before he was getting maybe 20 or 30 views a show.
Yeah.
That's someone who's actually a 30-year veteran artist who's got a outstanding record with Marvel and DC. And I'm just like, what is it? All of a sudden he was like, what the heck? It took him over 2 years to get to 1,000 viewers on his channel. And, me, here I am almost starting season 4. I start season 4 on September 6th of the channel. I got 49 subscribers.
Yeah.
It's weird. But I've learned a lot of people don't seem to be interested in some of the stuff I provide. They don't want to necessarily listen to reviews of other people's books.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily want to see about the behind the scenes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big struggle with anything. I have that same thought with just even doing the Baboon. Sometimes it's like, is this really what I should be doing? It is the thing that I want to do, so it's the thing I'm going to end up doing. But
do what you want.
Is there more success somewhere? Is the way that I draw what people like? You know, I spent the majority of the beginning of my career doing sample pages for Marvel and DC and trying to break into that world. I've drawn over 400 pages for Marvel and DC, right, for sample stuff. And then it was, 3 years ago now that it was at Heroes Con, and it was on a Saturday night, and something just clicked in my head, and I went to my buddy who I was tabling with that Sunday morning and said, I'm done doing sample pages. I'm just going to make my own comic. And he was like, great, do it. And a year later, the first Baboon book came out, and everything just now has kind of compiled.
It's growing.
You know, and I've done, you know, I did Quarter Killer with Comixology right after that first book came out. And so there's things that I have done now that are not directly related to the Baboon, but the Baboon seems to be the only thing that is consistent, has consistent viewership and consistent readership. One of the things I kind of pride myself on now with doing, this is now the third Baboon Kickstarter, is the majority of people who have backed the book backed past books.
Right.
So I think I have a very good holdover rate or percentage, and it's the reason I'm able to do what I'm doing. Right. It's because I have a solid fan base that is willing and wanting to buy the thing I do.
Yeah, I think that's true. Yeah, and you know, like I said, you know, it's just a fun, classic Silver Age style work, and you know, maybe Golden Age, but I tend to go more silver, early silver. Let's see if I can get this a little bit closer here. There we go. And you do all the work on this, right? Coloring everything.
I do everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've changed my coloring process recently, or I guess within the last year. So it's a little different. It's going to feel a little bit older in the actual like gritty texturedness of it. But
okay. Well, I like this stuff though. I mean, it's very straightforward coloring. It's not.
It shouldn't. My kind of mantra in the way I kind of do all of this work is getting out of the way of the reader. One of my least favorite things in comic books, and especially modern comics, is they're too flashy, and when it's super rendered and on high gloss paper, for me it takes me out of reading it. It takes me out of just like, I'm reading a comic book. It's fun and disposable and gets out of the way. That's why I use uncoated paper for everything. That's why I color in very block colors. In that kind of golden and silver age style, before we had computer coloring. I spent a lot of time making it look like it's colored not today, which is just
well, when you say hyper,
part of my process.
When you say hyper detailed, I mean there's certain people who do certain things a certain way. I mean, I don't know. Are you a fan of George Perez at all?
Yeah.
I mean, he's hyper.
Yes, I am. Sure. Yeah, but he's hyper detailed in the coloring. So like, I really like the way, the way like Crisis is colored. It's great, and all of his. But he's working in black and white, if you see new like guys coloring George Perez now, it's like too modeled inside the perfectly perfectly drawn thing. So
I know what you're saying.
it drives me a little bit nuts. I love Kevin Maguire. I am not a big fan of Kevin Maguire's recently colored stuff where he's coloring himself, but he's doing things that he's modeling the face and rendering the face out in paint or in digital colors. I much prefer him in a base black and white with a flat tone, a flat skin tone on the face. I just think for me, it reads better.
Yeah. I think there's some validity to that viewpoint. I'm kind of in between the two. I think that, yes, computer coloring gets over rendered. I think that's partly because a lot of the younger artists today don't know how to draw the right kind of detail. They don't know how to create the proper shadow effects, and I'll leave that to the colorist, and that's where you get those problems.
That's a huge thing, and I talk to young people all the time about why aren't you filling blacks in? Like there needs to be. I went on a big rant on my Twitch stream the other day about this, and I was drawing something in pencil, and a guy was talking to me, and he was like, "Oh, I'd love to try to ink it." And I said, "Okay, great. I'll put some pages up and you can ink it." I said, just out of curiosity, how would you do this? And they wrote back, they're like, "Oh, I would ink the line art, and then I would use like a color underneath." And I was like, I would fire you immediately if I was hiring you to be my inker.
First off, an inker doesn't need to use color unless they're using certain inks to create certain effects.
Right.
And that's, there's a difference between coloring and inking. And that's again, here we are. Is that person really inking, or are they digitally inking and then digitally compositing? That's another element there. And there's nothing wrong with that. That just has to be the direction with the technology that a lot of people are going. But traditionalists like yourself and I, that's a no-no.
Yeah. I try to think everything in black and white first.
If you can't get a clear visual with the black and white, all the coloring in the world won't save it. It'll just make it worse. I agree. It doesn't hold up. It doesn't hold ground. That's why like the old EC stuff works so well, is because it's inked to death. It's inked so well, and it works so well in black and white. Now you just gave me an idea. I got to write that down.
Inked to death. Yeah. So yeah, it works. It works in black and white, and then when the color is added, it is doing just that. It's adding to the readability of it.
Sure.
And you can have pretty crappy coloring under really well rendered things, and it still works. Or like when I mean crappy coloring, I mean just like what I do, which is the foreground is blue, and then the background is it's crappy is the wrong word. Simple coloring.
Even that necessarily isn't the right phrase. But I know what you're saying. But
it's all composition, and once you start. If you're composing an image multiple times, so if there's the penciler composing the image once, then the inker going in and composing the image, tightening it up and making that same composition work even better, because now you're pushing things back and pulling things forward in the inking. And then the colorist can go in and do the same thing. So you have three people doing their jobs very well. The book looks better.
But it's not just doing it very well. They have to also be compatible with each other's ideology.
Well, sure, and that's why I work alone.
I don't know. I could find some colorists that would be.
I love the work that Nick did on the Jamboree. It is one of my favorite. He is the only person who has ever colored my stuff that I've just gobsmacked and loved. Yeah. So I end up coloring myself a lot because I kind of know what I want.
Sure.
I know what I want stuff to look like.
Well, it's kind of like I don't know. It's hard to explain. If you talk to certain old school inkers who worked back in the day of the PH Martin guys, you can do computer coloring today. They could probably give you what you want.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And I've worked with PH Martin dyes before, just because I felt like I should know how to do that.
Yeah.
It's super fun. I like that older style. I also know that from a coloring standpoint, I'm a bitch to color, man. Like I know I am. I don't close any of my lines. So when you go, it's people like who fill in colors, everything bleeds everywhere. So you actually have to go in and do flatting, like manually, and it takes forever.
Well, what you do is you go up into the line art and you close off where you need to be closed off.
See, I don't. Maybe it's still and it might be just the way that it is inked, and it might be the way how it scans, right? So like, there's certain things. It's just it's been.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It can be a pain in the butt to have to go in and tighten or clean up the ink line to still make it look like what you intended with the brush.
Yeah.
But close off the things so that you could do it that way with coloring.
Yeah.
I do the same thing sometimes. So well, it depends on
I like old comic strips too much, and they just will not draw. They don't connect, and none of the lines connect, like ever. And stylistically, that's what I like. So I know that it's horrible. Like I know I'm just causing a problem for me later on the road, and I'm much more comfortable with me giving myself more work to do.
Yeah.
For example, Quarter Killer, I had 5 to 6 weeks an issue to do, and a full 20. God, that book got longer and longer as the book went on. But each issue, it was supposed to be a 20-page book. I think the first issue comes in at 24, and I think the penultimate issue is like 28 pages. It's just stupid, and I had 5 weeks to do that. I would pencil and ink the book in 2 weeks and then spend the next 3 weeks coloring it. That's just, I spent so much time coloring that book than I ever did actually drawing it.
And that's your Comixology project?
Yes, with Vita Ayala and Danny Lore.
Okay. I haven't seen that one.
It's fun. It is a Afro-punk, it's a cyber Afro-punk heist comic about this guy called Quarter Killer who works for quarters in the future because he is able to call his mom and play arcade games with quarters.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Arcade game thing. As a Quarter Killer, I'm like, okay. I'm thinking that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, either he's an old school arcade junkie, or he's an assassin who goes for quarters so he can play the arcade. That's exactly
that's exactly what it is. And he owns the last payphone in the city in New York, and so that's how he makes all of his calls untraceable from a payphone. So he has got like the last landline.
Interesting.
It's a fun book. It's
you and Alita should do a Kickstarter to get that in print if it's not in print.
We've got some things in the works to figure out how to get it in print. But Vita is also the editor of the Baboon. If that one of my best friends in comics, one of my best friends kind of period. But they are we talked just the other day about storytelling and the Baboon and stuff like that. So good person to have on your side.
Okay, well, I would go back and show the Twitch thing again, but it's got the wrong schedule. But again, you can go to Twitch TV/Art of Jamie Jones, and he's there Mondays through Thursdays, 3 on Mondays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, and 5 on Tuesdays.
That is correct.
And then whenever he decides to just pop in.
Yep, which happens more and more frequently.
That's a good thing, though. I mean, that means you can you're working from home, right?
Yes, yeah. I'm working from home all the time.
Yeah, so
which is great.
Because I mean, so many of us have to do a day job too.
Yeah. I have been very fortunate that my career has gone the way it has, and it's always kind of been in comics. Once I said I'm going to do comics, so.
Mm-hmm. Hold on a second. I've got a. Oh, there we go. Finally, somebody was trying to get me to go to their page. Right, and I'm like, no. It's one of those overrated artists from CG. I'm paying. Come watch me. Come watch me talk about my shit, my book. I'm like, I'd rather promote someone who deserves it. But that's just my view,
I appreciate it. I appreciate thinking I deserve anything, but
yeah. But let's see here. That's that book. Okay. And you got other connections. You're on. I know you're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on everything. I'm on all the things. It's Art of Jamie Jones on everything.
Okay.
I'm fortunate enough to have that. I 7 years ago when I signed up for everything, I was able to unify all of it. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Made it very easy.
Yeah. I'm just like Instagram doesn't work for me at all.
I've only recently gotten good at Instagram. I really looked up how to. I started following all the rules, and the second I started doing stuff, it actually seems to be going up. It stinks. You have to use the programs the way they want you to use it, and it's not always the best way conducive to like your lifestyle or the way that you promote or talk about yourself. It's tricky.
Yeah, I mean, how do you promote yourself when they want you to use your phone to take a shot of your artwork all the time instead of being able to go from your computer and posting it properly? It's
right.
It's difficult, but that's why I have an Instagram channel, but I never use it.
Yeah. It's mine's become more and more just. There was at one point the big talk on separation of is this your personal account or is this your business account? And I started a business account. I was trying to do it that way, trying to do the separation thing. And then one day I was just like, this is more work than I want to do. I'm going to delete the business account and I'll just do me. And you do become, I have become more of a personality, I guess, on these platforms, but I'm also able to just like post a picture of my friend's dog, right? If I want to post a picture of my friend's dog, I'm going to do that. And it doesn't have to be related to art at all. So that's been a huge kind of realization recently is that the quote unquote creative lifestyle or the quote unquote creative is for me like is valid as your business personality, but also your like personal personality. That's something I've been wrestling with for years, trying to keep the two separate. But
it's about keeping them separate as much as just being faithful to yourself.
Yeah, I'm a lot more comfortable with myself now than I was when I started off things. I think in part because of Twitch. I think I bring this up only because I feel like it's very recent for myself. Doing Twitch, and there was one day, the first day that I went on a rant on Twitch, somebody asked a question, and I was just like, all right, we're stopping drawing. I'm just going to look at the camera and I'm going to rant about this topic. And everyone seemed to gravitate towards it. And they were like, oh, great. Yeah, all right. Jamie's speaking his mind. Now it's become a thing. Some I have
See that's that. They want me to do Raven rants on the YouTube channel, but then I do it and they get mad.
well, I mean, that's part of it, right? Like you got to take that. People love it. People love when people get a little excited. Matt Sardo and I, one of our big conversations, he was like, I know it's going to be a good night when I get you going, and I can just like sit back and listen to you rant about comics or talk about comics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to let that be more of the bow-tied personality as well, which was reserved primarily for no bow tie on, right?
Yeah, right. Well, what you need to do is when you have a rant, you got to get a little gift with your bow tie. It spins.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
That way they know. Whoa, he's getting mad now. He's wild.
Yeah. I actually. So I have a. When I go on, we call it Jamie's soapbox. The Looney Tunes, that's all folks, comes around me, and I just rant. I just go off. I think the last time I went off was I ended up talking about my fear with DC movies. Like maybe that was what it was. It was a couple days ago. You could probably find it. But yeah, people seem to enjoy it.
Okay. One last through here. This is his Kickstarter campaign, kickstarter.com/projects Tales of MFR / the Baboon Skull of a King. Is that all your stuff under Tales of MFR?
I don't know why that has become the case for this thing. For Kickstarter, that might have just been a holdover from. I'm really good at Kickstarter, can't you tell? I don't know where that comes from. I think I might have typed in Tales of MFR at one point, and it just kind of solidified on the Kickstarter page.
Okay, yeah, that could be. Kickstarter is kind of weird that way.
It's been. I really don't know terribly a lot about it. Yeah. I'm fortunate to be funded. I'm fortunate to be able to do the thing I do, but like the actual inner workings, technical, the technical side of everything, I don't know. I'm just the older I get, and the more into doing this I get, the less I like dealing with computers. So
I hear you. Do you have any store appearances or convention appearances you have planned in the next month or so?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Oh, I guess so. I mean, I do. I'm going to be running the drink and draw at Neighborhood Comics. First, if you're in Savannah,
there you go.
It's going to be the first Wednesday of every month. I'm hosting a drink and draw. There's a little bottle shop right next to the comic shop.
That'll be September 1st.
September 1st, yeah, that's next. So yeah, I guess that's an appearance, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. That's next week, next Wednesday.
It's next Wednesday. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm very excited. I love the people over at Neighborhood Comics. Lee, who's the owner over there, is fantastic. And the owners of the bottle shop also equally fantastic. I frequent both locations constantly.
I haven't been down there in so long I don't know where anything is. Let's see.
It's just south of Forsyth. Just right off Forsyth Park, the big park in the middle.
Okay. What time is that drink and draw?
6 to 9. I have answers for you, which is surprising.
Okay, there it is. Neighborhood Comics, Wednesday, September 1st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Standard time. And that is a drink and draw.
Yeah.
So that means he'll be doing his martinis.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But what you ought to do is take a laptop and do your Twitch live.
Ooh, that might be a big setup. But maybe eventually I will do that. They might be able to accommodate. Yeah,
Something to think about.
it is something to think about.
Maybe not this first one, but maybe next month's. Or,
Yeah.
You know,
At some point, it will happen.
yeah. So that would be interesting because then you can see the man in the wild.
Yes. Sans bow tie. I won't be wearing a bow tie to that thing.
Well, no, I mean, it's too stuffy with bow tie. I can't get the drink on.
Yeah. You got to take it off. The Adam's apple going up and down is problematic.
Yes.
When the collar is tight.
Yeah. Where do you get your bow ties?
So my grandmother made most of mine. So like this one right here, she made a while ago. She she passed away earlier this year.
Sorry to hear
But
that.
it's okay. But yeah, she made most of my bow ties. I'm actually thinking about learning how to sew so I could start making my own bow ties. But I find them every so often. There was a great place in St. Pete where there was a girl who sold bow ties just at little markets and things and art markets. And she would just go at thrift stores and find cool shirts and make bow ties out of them. So I have a few of those. I have some store-bought ones, and you know, I've just amassed bow ties at this point.
Yeah. I just wondered, you know, 'cause, I mean, it's not like they're the easiest thing to find necessarily.
Yeah, I think they're coming. You know, I say this probably just optimistically. I think they're coming back.
Yeah.
They're back in style, maybe.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a lot better than a tie for me, especially going to conventions. It's like I'm not wrestling with something completely always dangling down on the drawing surface.
Right. There's that. You know, I can remember people who some of the guys that wore ties old school would actually flip the tie over their shoulder as they drew.
Right. Yeah. You have to. It's the only way to do it.
But it was kind of interesting. But yeah, I mean, what's your most outrageous tie, you think?
Most outrageous tie. I've got some. Oh, I have a really bright pink one with polka dots. That might be. It's a pink bow tie with white polka dots on it. That my grandma made for me and my brother. We at my cousin's wedding, we wore matching suits. I wore a green suit and he wore a pink suit. No, maybe it was the other way around. That doesn't seem right. I would probably be wearing the green suit. I had a green suit on and he had a pink suit on, and we had matching bow ties that matched our suits. So, and they were both, one is green with polka dots and one is pink with polka dots.
Okay.
They have both come into my possession. My brother doesn't wear bow ties.
Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, I was like, no, a pink bow tie with a green suit don't work.
I think maybe we did switch up the bow ties. Now that I'm saying it, I think
that'd be weird.
it was. It was purposefully ridiculous.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, and this is a wedding for who?
Oh, my cousin.
And your cousin's like, what are you two fools doing?
Oh no, he loved it. I mean, that was we gave a toast. We gave a toast, and it was all of the. It was all what
roast
infomercials.
Infomercials.
Yeah. So it was like we did the slap chop, we did the sham wow, we did the magic bullet infomercials as our toast. Yeah.
Okay, I got to get you as a comedy actor.
And my brother and I have done some pretty silly things in our past. Once it was the priest's birthday at church, and during church, we dressed up as Simon and Garfunkel and sang "Red Rubber Ball" for his birthday present, and got like everyone, all of the other clergy everyone knew it was happening except for
Yeah.
the head priest, and so they turned him around to bless him because it was his birthday, and that's how that works. And then we stood behind him when his back was turned, and he said, and then we just started playing. And the costumes are hilarious. Like, my hair was much longer, and I just kind of put it up. It just got it standing high, and my brother combed his hair in front of his face. It was a good time. Black turtlenecks, right?
Yeah, I can see it. Like I said, that's the. See, we don't have that kind of fun in comics anymore. To me, I go to conventions and people are just. It's either everybody just wanders around in costume taking pictures of each other.
Yeah.
Or they're griping about what's wrong in comics.
Right. So if I ever do a book with Frank Barberi for one of the big two, Frank is one of my best friends. We have talked about cosplaying Legolas and Gimli only for panels. So we would want to do like we've talked about it as like, if we did Fantastic Four and we were on some big New York Comic-Con panel, we're going to rent Legolas and Gimli costumes and go and do the panel in costume. And he's a very tiny, stocky guy, and I'm a very long, tall guy. So I just do more of that. I want more of that. That's one of the things I read a lot of.
Seriously.
No, oh gosh, no. I read a lot of biographies about cartoonists back from the turn of the 20th century. That's my favorite time period. And the kind of boys club that was comic book studios is, or not even comic book studios, just like newspapers, where Winsor McKay would put set up traps for their boss, and they would just like hang underwear outside of the windows, and nobody really cared if they were in the office. As long as the page got turned in, as long as the books got done, everything was okay. Winsor McKay would set up his hat on a broomstick and put a jacket over it and just push the chair in and leave, so it looked like somebody was sitting at the desk. He would go grab a couple drinks and then come back up late at night and finish Little Nemo. Like it that's constant. That's everywhere. George Harriman had a beef with a boxer, a professional boxer. George Harriman was before Crazy Cat was a thing, was a sports cartoonist, and had a beef with this one boxer, and just made fun of him in every single comic strip. For just and everyone knew who that guy was. Everyone knew that George Harriman just thought he was ridiculous, and they just never took each other. It wasn't serious. It wasn't a serious thing. I'm trying to add more comedy and more kind of personality in the Baboon moving forward too. So I'm much more willing to have like silly panels and simplified cartooning beats just for my own fun.
That makes sense. One last look here at the Kickstarter page. Again, this is the address. There's 20 days to go, so there's plenty of time to back it. I will keep promoting it until end of the show, end of your run. And he has something else to show us, maybe.
Yeah, I've just for further kind of just, this is one of the pages that I did on stream this week, but just like fun little panels trying to be a little more expressive in the line work, and I don't know, just I'm having more fun drawing this than I have been drawing anything that's a little more serious looking, I guess is the right word. And also saying it's okay if one panel is really silly looking and then another panel is overly rendered.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
Sense.
that's the new Jamie.
the new Jamie. Same as the old Jamie, but just more fun.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I want to thank Jamie Jones for being a guest on our show this week. As always, you can visit him on Twitch TV, Art of Jamie Jones, and also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of the accounts. He's at Art of Jamie Jones.
That's right.
So we'll be gotta stop that screen so it won't do what I need it to do. But in the meantime, you can reach me at Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven, at Twitter at LewisBrightRaven2. You can see my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. Oh, the Midnight wants to show himself again. Come here.
Oh.
You're leaving? I gotta go on TV. No, he's not. He decided to lay flat on the ground instead. Anyway, Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven on YouTube exclusively is what you're watching this program on. If you have questions for me, you can email me at quoththeravenlbr72@gmail.com. And if I don't answer on screen or email you back, try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. Mondays, we have comics, news, and reviews. Next week, we will also have Tuesday. We will have previews, reviews. So I'll let you guys know what I'm looking at in the previews catalog. Okay. I don't know what to say. You heard that cat, right?
I did.
I don't know what that was about. But anyway, Wednesdays is What Did You Get This Week? Where I let you guys know what I got, both at the comic shop and what I got in the mail from crowdfunding, or if I ordered something else online. Thursdays are usually Roundtable Talk. And next week, I will not be on for Friday because I will be out and about at the Shang-Chi premiere. So that is next week.
That's so soon.
Yeah, it is. Live draw is usually on Saturdays and Sundays. Can't be doing that this week or next because I'll be getting the new graphics for season 4 ready for the new season that starts on September 6th. So if you enjoyed the video or you think others might, then hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get support from this channel. As always, we thank you for your support. Well, again, thanks, Jamie, for being on the show. And we'll see you guys next time. Probably, what is today? Today is Thursday, right? So tomorrow is me doing reviews of Bloodshot, the movie, and Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. That'll be tomorrow's show at 8 p.m. So see you guys then, and have a good one.
Nice.